Take your clothes off.
3, 2,
Well,
1, we're good.
starts getting too excited.
I'm gonna go ahead and call us to order. Lisa, can you call roll?
Certainly. Councilmember Stravens,
Present.
Councilmember Sanders.
He'll be here.
Is that him?
No.
Okay, Councilmember Van Hees,
I'm here.
Councilmember Collard,
Present.
Councilmember BC,
Here.
and Mayor Freeman is not in attendance. Councilmember BC will be Mayor Pro Tem for the rest of the year.
Wonderful. Let's go ahead and stand. And Lisa, can you lead us in the pledge?
Yes, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and approve the meeting agenda. I do want to say we have an executive session. There is anticipated potential action, so maybe still want to go ahead and move that to the end of the meeting.
Please.
Can I get a motion?
Make a motion to extend, or to make the executive session at the end of the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? And it passes. All right, moving on to the local agency reports. Lisa, do we have any local agency reports or presentations today?
We do not.
Wonderful, we're cooking. Any other presentations on the schedule? Excellent. Any public comments concerning action items to be taken tonight?
None came in prior to the meeting. There were some in your packet that came in earlier that I didn't put it in, but none since then.
Excellent. Well, since we moved executive session to 14.5, we will go ahead and have action items for first reading. Brian, can you go ahead and present on the two ordinances?
Will do, thank you. Ordinance 547, again presented for first reading tonight, is basically a cleanup amendment to section 1205070 of the code. Recall that we're starting to adopt fees pursuant to a general fee schedule, which we do by one resolution as they're being reviewed. All this does is change the application fee for this for the permit. I think this is the special permit, correct?
It's for right away.
Or right-of-way permit, excuse me, which we'd included as a $35 fee when the ordinance was first adopted. We're just changing that to remove $35 and then make the fees pursuant to the fee schedule adopted by the city council. So that is a cleanup. Any questions, concerns, revisions that should be addressed before it comes back to you for second reading and final action next month?
I got nothing.
Yeah, in the council packet, it looks like we just have section 3, section 4. So if we could have more sections, highlights to it.
Say that again, sorry, Kelly?
So we only have the section 3, section 4, so it doesn't have the fee schedule.
Oh yeah, I don't think the schedule was in there.
Yeah,
There's no schedule.
so when we come back to you, have we identified what the fee is in the schedule?
Yes, it says 150.
Okay, yeah, so the new fee under the fee schedule wouldn't be attached to this ordinance. It's just that you separately adopt that fee schedule when we review them.
Okay.
But the current fee for that would be $150 per the fee schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that, yeah.
And I can include that with the next one if you just want to see it.
I think that'd be
to
nice.
see.
Yeah, that'd be good. Good call.
Thank you, Councilmember Stravens. All right, and then the ordinance for the finance committee?
Yeah, thank you. Ordinance 548 is a new section to the municipal code. It would be section 2.04.020. It would codify in the city code, the finance committee of the city council would lay out what the authorities, the actions, the obligations of the finance committee. Again, with all committees of the council, it would be advisory, but it's also an oversight more than advisory. And so we wanted to codify that to really kind of solidify the finance committee process. Have vetted this through the current finance committee, and the key comment was to come back and make sure that we've maintained the ability to adopt some policies or procedures of the finance committee and the performance of their duties. I think, one of them that will probably make sure that we adopt policies, and we are adopting and looking at purchasing policies, which I think would come through the finance committee, finance policies of the city, which would come through the finance committee, but also kind of an audit process too. We've had a little bit, I don't wanna say lax, but it hasn't really been a documented process for the finance committee other than review, and I think we just kinda wanna set a process and procedures going forward, so. Any thoughts or questions on ordinance 548, to bring back to you for adoption or second reading and adoption next month?
Nope.
Okay, all right.
Thank you. And on to the action items for consideration. First, we have our consent agenda. Does anyone want to take any part of the consent agenda as a separate item? Wonderful. May I get a motion to accept the consent agenda? And then we'll move through the other ones.
Move adoption of the consent agenda as presented tonight.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. And all abstentions, so that passes 4. All right, on the resolution 2025, the 10-year amendment to the 6-year transportation improvement plan. Kyle, did you want to go ahead and present?
I think it's been presented about 14 other times in the last 7 months. So I think we got all the little errors and stuff dialed in now finally. For some reason, sometimes the easiest things are the hardest apparently. So.
Wonderful. Is there any questions or conversation?
So Kyle, were there any changes from the last one as to what was
So,
funded and unfunded?
I can't remember, was it Shireen, I think, pointed out? So was that what it was? Was it set funded and it wasn't funded?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so. Or was it I can't remember if it was that or the 25 that was supposed to be in 26?
I think we had.
They both come up.
Yeah, Argonne grind and overlay, I think we had identified in 25 when we identified it as funded. I think that got moved to 26 and unfunded, correct? And then there was a
Or
project
the
on there.
north portion, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was a Frederick to Liberty, and then there was a portion that's already been performed, which was.
So that was just stricken.
Oh, that's what the last one.
Yes, that was the last one, just struck.
And the southern portion is funded by PIV and is hoping to go out to bid this year in 25. So it'll stay in there. It does everything.
So any further questions, discussions, motions?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2025 10-year amended 6-year transportation improvement plan.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Passes. On the amendment for the Spokane County SCEO ILA, Brian, did you want to present? I believe it's just, this was the allowing us to sign the interlocal agreement that permits tribes to join the steering committee, correct?
Yep, that is correct, yeah, it's just a result of an amendment to the steering group committee interlocal agreement, which is the byproduct of some recent amendments to the RCW and the Growth Management Act to allow tribal participation in the joint planning process.
Wonderful. Any questions, discussion, motions?
Move to approve the amended steering committee of elected officials interlocal agreement to add the Spokane tribe and Casper tribe to the board.
Awesome.
I'll second.
Any seconds? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. All right, well, Brian, I'm gonna have you present the administrative appeal hearing findings as I was not in attendance.
You bet. So the city engaged in some code enforcement regarding an illegal fence submit was filed to try to address the fence issue. There was an appeal, and we had a hearing on, it seems like it wasn't that long ago, but
June 30th?
June 30th, yeah. These findings of fact were drafted as a result of the hearing. In order to satisfy to the extent the applicant wishes to appeal to the next level, the process, the findings and the conclusions that are the result of that hearing need to be memorialized in writing. That would then trigger what is the final action, which would allow for the timing to file a Land Use Petition Act matter in the Spokane County Superior Court. So these findings, the city had outside special counsel assisting the city with them. Aziza Foster was outside counsel. These were drafted by Z and vetted through city staff as well. They are ready, to the extent you have any questions, happy to answer, but they're ready for you to adopt as the final findings and conclusions of that code process, and then allow for it to take whatever path it might take from there.
Thank you very much, Brian. Any comments?
Oh, reading through it'll look good.
Yeah. Kind of captured at least our administrative hearing at the end as well.
Mhm.
And the decision of city council.
Wonderful. Brian, is there anything that means it needs more than a quorum? Because after discussion with Kevin, I am gonna abstain, not because I don't support it, but just because I was simply not in attendance. It was not participatory in the hearing, so.
It was a good hearing. I mean, it was pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, no, we have a quorum, we still have a quorum that can act on it, so I think we're fine that way. What we would ask is those voting on it, if we could have you stay after the meeting to sign a copy, and then we would note, we'll get your signature, but just saying abstained, and
Understood.
then we'll have Councilman Sander represented on that as absent from the approval of these, so.
Not having attended though, I echo, the overwhelming sentiment was it was pretty
It was
cut and dry.
that Z was that
Aziza, yeah, Z.
man.
Mhm.
It was. I was dumbfounded. I was like, "Is this a boring thing?" And she's like, "Well," and then it happened. I was like, "Wow."
Yeah, she's a good attorney.
Yeah. Very good.
Her and Amanda in the same room was just like,
Yeah, Z's a really good attorney.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, all in favor? Or did we have a motion?
I think we're
right?
adopting the findings as written, aren't we?
Yeah, adopt the findings and conclusions as presented.
I'll adopt the findings and conclusions of our administration hearing.
I'll
Or
second.
is it the entire action, Brian? Is it?
Well, these reflect, this is the final action of the council.
Okay, so I vote that we adopt the final action as presented tonight.
I'll second.
Perfect. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? One abstention?
Okay.
All right. Well, on to the reports, no action expected. Treasurer, well, actually consultant, Dave Armstrong, did you have anything you wanted to present?
Sure, I'll comment on a couple things, thank you very much. The treasurer's report is a little bloated, mainly because I am in the process of reconciling the main checking account. Last week, prior to, I see this was pulled on the 8th, which was Friday. Prior to that, I was working through all of the other accounts. The investment account, which is now totally in the hands of Banner. All but the very top one, the 2604 Banner checking account, have been reconciled. When that one gets reconciled, that report will shrink. The important thing is, I think that the cash balances on page 20 of the packet are all very close except for the Banner checking. And I know just in the last 2 days I found $60,000 that hadn't been recorded yet. So I'm in the process of getting that all recorded. Upcoming situations is that we need to pay the contractor on the Argonne Road project. We're hanging with washed out on a reimbursement from the first payment. So now the second, they take 30 to 45 to 60 days to send their grant money back. So The second one, I'll have to work with the investment banker and keep moving money around until we get reimbursed from WashDOT and then replenish those accounts. So that's what's upcoming. I'm also gearing up for and working through all of this. I'm also gearing up for the budget process, which I think is starting in September. My guess is that the auditors will probably show up about the same time. So, and I think the rest of it, other than that, I think page 20 is the best representation of what's going on, since there's only one thing to balance to on a cash basis accounting program, and that's cash. So I get that squared away, I'll feel a little comfortable about the rest of it. So I was really close at 5 o'clock today, but I went and had something to eat.
Well, you've done a hero's journey.
So other than that, I think that's it, and then I'll say some more comments for the executive session as to processes, procedures, things like that.
Wonderful, thank you. Any questions,
No.
discussion?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Lisa, would you like to give the clerk public records / code enforcement report?
Sure. So, the usual preparing of agenda, meeting and packets and so on and so forth. And I'm also working with, our new person, Kinsey, and she's been dabbling in the, minutes software. She's, prepared the historic preservation minutes for her first practice run. So she's doing great there and learning that. She picks up things very quickly. Working with, Amanda on research, scheduling, invoicing, and her planning requests. Also on Millwood Days, she's doing the booth there for the periodic update, which is part of periodic update. Kinsey's been helpful with gathering materials and figuring out activity for kids, because we have to have a kid activity for that. So that's been really good. Sent the historic preservation resource guide to Brian for legal review. Kevin is going to look at that, and then I believe he's going to bring that to the next meeting for you guys to take a look at. After that, I believe it'll go live onto the website as a guide. For
Piggyback, they did a
Yes.
really good job. It's a lot of work, it was really good. Really the only revisions I had were to reinforce kind of the guiding nature of it, and also to make some of the references internally consistent on it. But they did a really good job. And at the beginning of the year, you know, when they started back up with their meetings, there was a thought by city staff that, you know, maybe I should attend those meetings and help. You know, my feeling for those of you that I worked with on the Planning Commission and Historic Preservation Commission, my presence stifles creativity. So I went to one meeting and just told them, I said, you guys are fine, you're ready to roll. So I think they're doing a great job, and let's just make sure that they get their request in, or their budget request in.
They are aware. I already sent them,
Perfect.
they started that process last month.
Perfect, because they do have some thoughts about expenditures that they'd like to include next year. So,
Yes.
that was good work.
Yes, we've had 2 public records requests new since last time, still working on the very large one that we had months ago. Code enforcement, of course, working on that appeal hearing and some residual things from that. We had the site meeting on another issue at that location, an excessive trash, noise complaint, and beginning the abatement process with Larry Garvin on the 9614. So the miscellaneous sent out the second backflow letter. Hopefully no one got that, because that means you're on my naughty list. And Kinsey is learning backflow as well, so she's been doing, got that almost all dialed in and figured out, so she'll be able to manage that, which will be nice. We've had to send out 80 letters for a second call out of 360, I think total is what we have, something like 370. So that's about average, I guess, for the second one, so we'll see how that goes. Preparing right-of-ways, land use permits, invoices, business licenses. We had to send out 8 letters this time on home businesses that do not have a home application. And it's just they don't know, you know, they just don't know. And so hopefully we'll get those back and figure out if those are approved uses or not. The West Valley Education Fund decided to pull their permit. And they canceled their event just a couple of days before it was scheduled to go. They just didn't get the interest that they thought they would, but this is a perfect example of why we do the 50 and then the 200, because a lot of work goes into that, and if they don't go through, you don't get any of that. So that was sad to see that, because I think it would have been a great event. Had a meeting with Mayor Freeman and Kim Dennis from WCIA, she's the risk manager. That was interesting, and I learned a lot from that. Another meeting with Mayor Freeman and Intermax regarding our phone systems. Our phones are so outdated that the last time we needed a part, we had to go on eBay. So we're looking at maybe changing that up a little bit. Coordinating and scheduling MRSC staff training, really trying to get the staff training going. And multiple meetings with PAC people regarding the scope office air conditioner. I think we got that fixed. So I haven't heard anymore, so I think it's good. So that's it.
Thank you so much. Any questions or discussion for Lisa?
Thank you.
Thank you. Perfect. Well, we're quickly advancing all the way to facilities. Kyle, do you have something for us?
Nothing's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Can't imagine.
So shortly after last month's meeting, the county came out and put their fog seal over the chip seal on Empire, and then followed that up with all the new stripings to narrow the lanes and add the bike lane to the south side. As of this afternoon, the other two sets of double speed humps are in, striped, and signed, and that project is wrapped up. There was a mention by a resident that the farthest east set wasn't quite as impressionable, we'll say, as the other two sets are. And I do have a tendency to agree with them. They are a bit more mellow. I'm gonna go out tomorrow with our laser and just see why they're more mellow, make sure we got our full rise in the center, and because I've gone over them in 3 different vehicles now, and they do seem a little less significant than the other two. And I explained, that they're basically molded by hand. There is a machine that does them, so getting a mirror image from hump to hump is almost impossible, but we should be able to get them closer than that. So I'm gonna go out and try to figure out where the problem lies, and then talk to them to see what we can do about it. I don't know if we can just put a tack coat over what's there because they're fresh and smash another layer in there to bring it up a little bit or what, but I'm gonna be working on that. On the Argonne project, everything's been going fairly smoothly. There's been a few minor hiccups along the way, but nothing crazy that we haven't found solutions for. They're staying pretty close to schedule. Last month, I think I said they're about 3 days behind. They're still right in there. They haven't lost any more time, but they haven't made it up yet like they were hoping to. And they are still optimistic that they'll make it up in the next couple weeks. Mostly what they're working on right now is this east side of the road. Starting at the dentist office and working their way down towards the tracks. They've been preparing the wider road bed, putting in the geogrid and doing all that, and setting their sidewalk and curb grading and stuff as they go along. They just got done with a bunch of work setting light base fixtures and stuff inside the railroad right away, and that was a whole another challenge dealing with the railroad and having their guy on the patrol 24/7 while we were inside of there. And they're also working down in front of IEP, demoing out the little retaining wall that was there and demoing out the sidewalk, removing trees. And there's been, I guess, some comments from business owners and stuff wanting to know when Euclid will reopen. We had a pretty lengthy discussion about it today at the construction meeting. And it sounds like December 10th is probably the soonest it'll open. They're saying they could reopen it for a week, but then they're gonna have to shut it again. And because of IEP's trucks and the way they have to turn in and out of there, and now we don't have a signal for Euclid and a couple other variables, mainly the main one being the railroad, because we can't do any work inside of there 25 feet either side of the rail without them on site, and we only had their attention for a small amount of time. They do have us scheduled on their agenda again for, can't remember, I didn't write it down, I should have brought it with me, but early September, they're gonna be back out here so we can start doing that work again. But they said, and I talked to Kevin about it yesterday, and they said that opening Euclid right now would be very chaotic as far as trying to get traffic to move smoothly, as smooth as it's going now. And it would only be for a limited time anyway, that it wouldn't be beneficial to anything really. And pretty much that's where we're at on that. The park got some upsetting news over the weekend. One of our lifeguards that has been with us for a couple years now, she's been having some health issues she's been dealing with. I haven't heard a lot about it. I know last week she came in, she had 2 full knee braces on, and then she basically gave me her letter of resignation over the weekend because she ended up having to use a cane to be mobile, and she just felt that she wasn't able to, be as responsive and dedicated to the position if there was an emergency. So she had to resign, and then I found out a few hours later on Sunday evening that our other main lifeguard was in a soccer tournament and tore her ACL. So now we're down to our backup lifeguard, which we weren't really planning on using a whole bunch, and she had an alternate job babysitting and stuff, so I'm trying to work with her mother and figure out what hours she's available so we can hopefully at least get the pool open back up on a very limited schedule. So that's kind of where we're at on that. At the farmer's market, we had a little bit of an incident with one of the vendor vehicles and one of our trail light poles. It took down a pole, just kind of not paying attention, and I had to go out there after work hours and cut it out to remove it from the back of his bumper. It sounds like it's more than likely going to be going on his car insurance, and I'm just trying to get stuff together to figure out. It seems like commercial lighting and stuff in general is just always floating around, and people are different representatives for different parts and pieces, so ends up one company does the pole, is a rep for the pole, and then I gotta go to a different company for the mast arm and the lighting fixture. So they're supposed to be getting me prices on what it'd be to put another pole together and do the excavation and reinstallation of a new light pole. So I've been working through that. And next Thursday and Friday, I'm gonna have AAA come out. They're gonna be sweeping the streets before the farmers or the Millwood Days celebration on that Saturday. I think that's covers most of what I've been doing.
Thank you so much, Kyle. I have a couple questions. So it sounds like we're gonna just go ahead and keep Euclid closed until September 10th, because I agree with you. Why open it just
I
to?
think unfortunately we have to. It's not great, but there has been another thing that came up that we've worked through. There's been bigger setbacks on the signalization, the boxes and the signal heads and stuff. We got some news saying that some of those lead times have been pushed out to November, December. But with the help of Avista and Spokane County, we have a solution for everything. They're gonna be temp signals. A couple of them are on wooden poles, and they're gonna be strung across with cable and stuff. But it's gonna get us through, and it basically gave us no interruption to the project. They're gonna be able to continue on with their widening, all their hardscapes, all the center islands, and everything will go on as planned. And then when those poles and stuff come in, then they'll have to just come back out and get them all on. All the bases and all the conduits and wiring and everything will be in place. It'll just be a matter of taking the old stuff and the used stuff out that we're temping in and putting the new stuff in, so.
Perfect. And then the overall project, I know we were slightly delayed. It looks like we're gonna be able to catch up. What are we still thinking is the estimated end date? Because I've heard everything from mid-September to no, we're going back to the October 31st as the outer range,
So they're still, everybody's still hesitant to say
Exactly.
a dead set end date. We haven't really wavered from the original end of September
That's
goal.
what I heard too.
So
Okay.
we're fighting to stick with that,
What's our contract end date?
So I'm not sure exactly. I know they had 75 days. They've given them 2 additional days for the added STA stuff that they are putting in, and an additional 2 days that hasn't been approved yet. I'm trying to remember we just talked about this in the meeting, but I didn't write it down. So they've gained 4 days. So I think we're at 27 days left. And so I think they're at 31 days.
Okay.
31 days total remaining.
Right about there, yeah.
But before we even started, when we were walking the corridor and visiting with every single business, at that time, the outer range was October 31st. So if we come in before October, people still need to understand, longer than we'd like, but under what we anticipated
Right.
initially.
Yeah, I've heard some rumors bouncing around that it's taking longer and this and that, but that's not true. We
No.
are right on schedule, really. I mean,
Under schedule.
Yeah. so, I mean, all things considered, it's been moving smoothly. And we got good goals for the next few weeks to push forward.
It's just everything, when I've heard people drive through Argonne or anywhere else, there's road construction everywhere. Go downtown, there's road construction. Go up north, south, so it's just the nature of our seasons, right? So it's just compounded by everybody else is doing it too, so.
Yeah, it's still difficult for the neighbors. Any questions or comments, discussion with Kyle?
You've been busy.
Yeah,
I have been busy.
you might remember summer 2025 for a while.
Yeah.
I'll get you a gift. All right, well, utilities, Matt, what do you have?
Not nearly as busy.
The water didn't pass its inspection.
Oh, but he's been doing some fun stuff.
A lot of tests. All our routine samples were good. We did took PFAS and radium-228 samples from New Park. Waiting to hear back on that, but hopefully that will all be good. We did nitrates at all 3 wells. Still waiting to hear on those. This coming month, I'm going to take samples of IOCs, VOCs, herbicides, and pesticides at Old Park and Butler. Then our final PFAS at Butler for the year. Prestige came out and they tested all the large meters, and there were a few that were a little bit off, but I'm waiting for the results on that too, and then we'll get those changed out. American Leak Detection came out and they tested all the old cast iron mains, and they didn't find any major leaks, or there's one small one you saw, nothing major. And then we're getting the interior of the tank inspected next Wednesday, I believe. We had Bryce climb the tower last week to make sure we could get in the hatch. They'll put a drone down in there, inspect the interior. I suspect that to look good, but it'd be nice to get it verified. And then sewer, Pacific Power came out, they replaced a leaky water pump at the lift station generator. And then they did their routine 6-year service on it while they're down there changing belts and hoses and all that stuff. That's what I got.
Excellent. Do we have any questions or discussion for Matt?
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Don't let all that work fool you. He came in from the lake for this meeting. And he's promptly going back out there for the rest of the week.
Oh, still, thank you
Good
very
for
much
you,
for
man.
your
Just
leadership.
I'll stick up for you, all right? You deserve it.
Some might congratulate Matt on a work-life balance.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm constantly.
You learned something.
He's got that down.
He's told me that.
Figure that out.
He does.
Wonderful. Well, Amanda has included her report of planning inside of our packet, so I'll pass this on to Brian for a legal update.
Yeah, not much to report that hasn't been already addressed on the agenda. Working through, I think the mayor's mentioned it in previous months, working to update our purchasing policies to consolidate them into one document, one easy to read through and work from document. Still working through that. The hope is to be able to bring it forward next month. We will see. Unfortunately, next week I'm moving a kid to Boise for college, so my work week's gonna be a little awkward. But hoping to do that. Do want to reiterate that would like to have an executive session. I think, what did we identify the timing? How long do you think?
Like 20 minutes?
About 20 minutes. And then hot off the presses, I just wanted to mention that Mr. Gillis texted me and said Kyle did a great job of updating the council tonight. So if we We got somebody watching online.
4 people.
So, yeah. That's all I have for tonight, so yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, and congratulations to your kids for college.
Yeah, thank you.
And then Mayor has a report. I will say that we did meet as a finance committee. It was the 2 finance committee members, Mr. Armstrong and Brian, and then the mayor this week. And it sounds like in future, Brian's gonna try and give us the old kicked out of the nest and, oh, your committee can do it without the lawyer available. But we will persist.
Just wanna bring value and value added if I don't wanna slow the process down.
It's kind of his signature move.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, you guys are doing so well. All right. Council, we'll go ahead and council information, no actions or discussion. There's that. We're good, right? Awesome. Public comments for just open comments, remarks, I guess I should say today.
Todd has one.
And you do have some in your packet tonight too.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Make sure you saw those, yeah.
Yeah. Todd has one.
Wonderful. Please identify yourself.
Good evening, and Todd Beasley, East 8610, East South Riverway, Millwood, been here since 72. Just a couple of things, the 11 days away is Millwood Days, Saturday 23rd, and we're all excited about that. One thing I'd like to announce to everybody, especially the 2 gentlemen right here, no sprinklers on Dalton that morning or day or anything, so. And, yeah, and I'll try to get to you and remind you either through Lisa or if I see you out and about in like a day or 2 before I'll see you, remind you. So that's Millwood Days. The Millwood Neighborhood Advocates has their new summer flyer out. May I pass this out to those who wish to have one? Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'll try to stop by Dan's house and give him one. So is he sick today or do we?
Well, we don't, we wouldn't know, we wouldn't disclose if we did know.
Okay, I think that's all. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you. Any other public remarks? Going once, going twice. Public remarks closed. Do we want to do council remarks before the executive session?
Sure.
Okay. Kelly, would you like to kick us off with any council remarks?
The only remarks I have is thank you, staff. Appreciate it. Everything looks good.
I would like to thank for the speed bumps placement was done really well. Speed bump placement, given hours of my family's time in employment. I went to the SWAC meeting.
Yeah?
Yep, we went to the recycling center up by the, I don't know, the incinerator.
Yeah.
plant.
Waste energy.
Yep, went on a tour of that place. It is pretty. It's way more than I thought it was. They have some robots that do some pretty amazing things.
Wow.
That I also learned that I don't know how to recycle. There is a way. Like bottle caps, take those off. You can't recycle a bottle cap. I mean, there's a lot of, and I kept throwing stuff out at her. I'm like, this is what I do. I'm like, no, you can't. I didn't come home and tell my wife. She was right. But I am doing it a different way now. But everything looks good on the SWAC front. And the speed bumps are doing their job. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Van Hees.
Thank you, staff. That's all I got.
Awesome. I also want to echo thanking the staff for everything that they're doing. And I would like to echo the good people at Welsh-Comer. I thought County did a great job. We will have some information coming out in the next newsletter, the September water bill. It will be, Kevin will be writing information about the schools, different bus bus information around those streets, and I will also be providing a schedule on the opposite side of what we're going to do for Good Neighbor Weekend, and I think we got our banners in the mail, so look for that. And then thank you, Mr. Beasy, for reminding us all about Millwood Days. I know Shireen and team have been working very hard all year on getting that going, so lots to look forward to. Any announcements on behalf of the city? All right, well, I will then cut us to 14.5. It looks like we're gonna go to 20 minutes for an executive session. I'll have Brian read us out, but we will actually, the council will be getting up with Mr. Armstrong and Brian and going to one of the back offices, but we will be reconvening and there is a potential action that might take place.
Sounds good, yeah. City council will convene to executive session pursuant to RCW 4230-110, subsection 1I for 20 minutes unless otherwise extended, to discuss legal implications, financial implications of a proposed action or two of the city. As was mentioned, it is anticipated the city will, the city council will be asked to take action upon conclusion of the executive session.
All right, 20 minutes.